Welcome to Mike. This is your host, Micah Cannon, and today I'm going to talk about news that has gone on in the NBA for the past 2 days. But first, before we get into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe. All that's going to be up here as usual. And without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's get into the less major news. We'll get into the more interesting news later as I see fit. However, the lesser interesting news is that the one that happened first, LeBron James signed his 2-year deal, a max 2-year deal. Well, a max 2-year extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. And you might be asking, Michael, how relevant is this deal? What is it going to mean for the Lakers going into the future? Well, one thing it does mean is that LeBron is 100% committed to our organization. By the time that he has his option to be a free agent, he's going to be 38 years old, which is also the same year that his son, Bronny James, graduates high school. So maybe the goal is to play with his son in the NBA. You never know. But one thing you know is that he's committed to the Lakers. He believes that organization can win more and more. And personally, I think they can go back-to-back. I think they're going to end up going back-to-back. But you never know. There are a lot of great teams. And then there was something yesterday that shook up the NBA that I'm going to get to later. But LeBron James, the relevance of that deal, I mean, it's nothing we didn't expect. Of course, we expected AD to sign first. But I know that deal had a lot of influence on AD signing his deal this morning, which we're going to get into next. But LeBron James, he's committed. He's full and ready for LA. And he might retire as an LA Laker because he's going to be 38 years old. And he's going to get paid $44 million to play the game of basketball at 38 years old, which is insane. He's going to be 38 going on 39, so that's an insane level of production. Hopefully he can keep it up. He's going to keep rewriting the history books. Highest paid, one of the highest paid players in NBA history. He's made over $300 million in his career by the time that contract is up. So, yeah, that deal right there, that got done. It relatively unexpected, however, I really like it. I really like that LeBron James is committed to the Los Angeles Lakers, and it looks like he will retire in the gold and purple. Now, Anthony Davis. This was one that many people have been waiting for, but many people predicted. I predicted Anthony Davis to stay with the Lakers. That's what he did. After last year, you could see that his jump shot got a lot better. You could see that his ball handling got a lot better. He's an all-around better player, and LeBron James has made him a better player. He's committed. He wants to keep playing with LeBron, and even then, the Lakers also said that they are interested in getting a third guy, as of right now. He would be a third guy to be with LeBron and AD, but when LeBron retires, he can be the second guy stepping up so they can keep it going. You know what I'm saying? He can be that second guy behind behind AD once LeBron leaves. So the Lakers, they're definitely invested in Anthony Davis going into the future. I really like it. Anthony Davis did give up some of his leverage with 5 years because that is a long time to be with a team. However, I believe that Anthony Davis did the right thing at the same time, re-signing with the Lakers. The Lakers seem set for next season. They don't have a lot more money left. I think they can only get more veteran minimums, so they might sign people to fill up that roster. However, I believe Anthony Davis being there, it brings a lot more life into the organization. It brings life into the organization. Like, okay, this guy is fully committed to us. Let's get him what he needs to win more and more championships. That's what I think the Lakers are going to do. I think they're going to win more and more. And if you're a Laker fan, you have to be excited for the future because I'm telling you, from a Hawks fan, your future is really bright, even after LeBron leaves. Now, getting into the more relevant news and the more shocking news. Last night, at about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm on the East Coast, so Eastern Standard Time. Maybe you're on the West Coast, but it happened around 9 p.m. on the East. Russell Westbrook was traded for John Wall and a first-round pick to the Washington Wizards. Personally, I think the Rockets won the trade, and here's why. Russell Westbrook and James Harden are two ball-dominant players. They're two guys that need the ball in their hands in order to feel like that they are filling their role. Russell Westbrook and James Harden was an instant locker room disaster as soon as they got to Houston. And Russell Westbrook even said himself, he got tired of the bad teammate narrative that was being painted around him by the media, by James Harden, by people not wanting him there. So I think the Rockets did win the trade. However, Russell Westbrook got tired. That's why he got traded. They are both ball-dominant players. The two ball-dominant players almost never work in a system unless one guy is willing to take a step down. For example, LeBron James and D-Wade and Chris Bosh. D-Wade and Chris Bosh were willing to take steps down. What happened? 2 championships. 4 appearances in a row. Probably should have been 3 titles, but they went 4 in a row and they won only 2 of them, which is great. They went back to back. But the point is that if you're going to have so many ball dominant players, you're going to need at least one of them to take a step back. And Russell Westbrook nor James Harden was willing to do that. So that ended up in total haywire where Russell Westbrook got traded. And he got traded because, they've had James Harden for longer. They built the organization around James Harden. It would make no sense to trade James Harden in that situation. And Kevin Durant also said that him going to the Nets, he basically said it was fake and denied it. So maybe that was never real in the first place. Who knows? They've wanted to keep James Harden. But another reason that the Rockets did win the trade is because of John Wall. He may be coming off of a terrible Achilles injury, but John Wall, he's not ball dominant. He can pass the ball. John Wall was an easy 9-10 assists a night. He's a 20-10 player. Will he return to that form? That's the question. I have no idea. That's why it shocked me so much with the trade. Like, this is a guy coming off an Achilles injury, guys. He hasn't played basketball in just about 2 years. So that was kind of shocking to me. But if he can even get to 75-80% of that form and still be an all-star, then I believe that the Rockets win the trade. And I think they have a great chance at the championship because, they got Christian Wood, you have James Harden, and you have John Wall. And if John Wall can produce like he did 2 years ago when he didn't have the injury, if he can produce a little bit like that this time around, then I believe the Rockets have a great chance at competing with teams like the Lakers and the Nuggets and all of those great teams out there in the West. I think the Rockets won that trade. And that's simply it. The Wizards, from a talent standpoint, and from a sort of guarantee standpoint, that Russell Westbrook has not been injured in his career. He hasn't been injured to the point where it's affected his athleticism at a detrimental rate. Just like he hasn't had an Achilles tear, for example. It's more guaranteed that Russell Westbrook is going to produce. However, Westbrook and Beal, 2 total ball dominant players. 2 guys who need the ball in their hands. Bradley Beal averaged 30 points a game last year, but basically every time they went up the court, the ball was in Bradley Beal's hands. Yes, he is a great player, but again, he's going to have to take a step back. And how will he handle a step back? I don't know. Russell Westbrook's going to have to do the same thing, step back. How will Russ handle a step back? No clue at all. It's a lot of uncertainty concerning the Washington organization right now. However, I think from a talent standpoint, it's a good trade. I think that they can get something going over there, and who knows, maybe they can make a finals run next year, but I wouldn't count on a finals run. I'm just going to say right now that they're a very talented team, very well-suited team, and we're going to have to see what goes on in the future in order to make assumptions of what can happen, because 2 ball-dominant players, we need to see how that works before we really get our hopes up. But, yeah, rounding that up, I believe that Houston won the trade. I think they're gonna be still a top 3, top 4, top 5 team. The Washington Wizards, same thing. I think they're gonna be a team to compete with, and I'm gonna love to see them play my Hawks. I want to see what the Wizards team is gonna look like because they have, of course, you have Thomas Bryant at the center position. Then you have Davis Bertans, and then you also have Roy Hachimura out there. And then with Houston, of course, you have Christian Wood, you have James Harden, and you have John Wall, that little tandem that they're trying to create. So those 2 teams are going to be really interesting to watch. Same with the Lakers. It seems like both of their 2 superstars are very committed to the organization, which I'm sure a lot of Lakers fans are happy about. So in case anybody's watching from LA, I'm happy for you because you guys have a very solid and great future with your 2 superstars being there. So it was a lot of news. Next episode, that's when I will catch you because next episode is probably going to be about my UGA Bulldogs. As you can see, I have a Bulldog sweatshirt on right now and how JT Daniels is changing the locker room, changing the team, and helping the team become better, become at their best, basically. How he's helping the team be at their best. But however, that's it for this video. I would like to thank you for watching. All that's going to be up here, of course. Make sure you like and subscribe. Once again, all up here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow on Instagram, on the Mike Podcast, at on the Mike Podcast _ and at Real Micah Cannon for my personal Instagram. I love you guys, and until next time, I will catch you next video.